Someone's asking, can you discuss injection timing and what is considered safe or unsafe at what load and RPM for the 3.0 TB9? A shop in Texas told me that they've seen unsafe injection window timing that is causing blown engines. What would make injection timing unsafe? Does this hurt the injectors? So I'll just preface, there is one of our ex-dealers, we dropped them last week because they were out spreading false information about our tuning. Yeah, and they never once contacted us. They never once asked our opinion. They never once brought any of these concerns to us. And so we just all of a sudden started getting emails from customers where they were telling them that our tune wasn't safe. And this particular shop has a deal with one of our competitors to sell competitive tunes. And conveniently enough, since our tune is so unsafe now, they wanted to switch everyone over to this other company's tuning. So it was very disheartening to see. I think if you're one of our customers, you're watching this, and you've been told this or they've contacted you, I think you know who they are. And I'm just here to say, if you have any questions or concerns about your tuning, always contact 034 Motorsport.
Yeah,
we are here to help. We're available. We will review your logs. We do not have a rash of blown engines. There is no problem with our tunes. Our tunes are not unsafe. Nate, you can talk about injection window for a minute if you'd like.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to put a statement out there without naming any names that this shop is not to be trusted. It's pretty clear that they had ulterior motives.
There's an agenda.
There's an agenda, and they are no longer a dealer of ours. And in fact, they've been banned from our dealer network as a whole. So,
okay.
And this is also a company with some really shady past, I'll just say. So I would avoid them and work with reputable companies like 034 Motorsport, and I would even recommend any of our competitors over this shop.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot too, and it's like when you get these salacious claims, double down, like ask them for proof. What about this claim that they've made is true? What is the failure?
They say they have proof, and there's some log or screenshot.
Well, no, they're that's their fix. But what's the proof that they're trying to sell you that indicates that it's a problem, other than them saying, this number means bad. What's the failure mode? What does it do? What is the cause of it? So, it's a very intricate question. There's no one answer on injection timing. Injection timing is going to vary widely across, tons of different, parameters, from fuel pressure to, fuel demand to engine RPM. Your injection window is going to be, limited by the physical opening time that the injector has for a combustion event, and that window gets quite small as revs go up. So you end up running into injection window limits, which I don't know what these guys are talking about. Because I don't have the details and what the problem they're trying to solve. There's a lot of talk of people saying that anything over like a number like 8 milliseconds or whatever it may be at the for a given week is detrimental to the injectors. We have yet to see any hard proof that is the case. We have tested these injectors at and above operating pressure, well beyond 8 milliseconds on benches multiple times. We have worked with Bosch Motorsport engineers who do all of their testing and flow testing and benching at 10 plus milliseconds.
There's no evidence that it causes a problem.
I have yet to see a concrete explanation, teardown, dive that a particular number or millisecond window is the be all end all problem on these injectors. Yeah. They run more than that in situations stock. Given again fuel pressure and operating modes and that kind of thing. It's just like one of those things where somebody developed a number and is just regurgitating it.
Yeah. So to clarify, currently there is some shop out there where this guy is basically a website developer, right? So like he's not a tuner, he's not an engineer, he doesn't know anything. But this guy has gone out and developed an e-commerce website. And so now he's going around telling everyone that 8 milliseconds is bad and they should switch to this other company because supposedly they can produce the same power without opening the injectors as much, which is impossible.
Yeah, no, you need a given amount of fuel demand for a given amount of flow.
Yeah. And this person says they have proof, but we haven't seen it. We asked them directly for it. They wouldn't send it to us. The last comment from them was that they were going to produce some big expose video and post it on YouTube or something. It's like, okay, dude, we're done with this conversation. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, there's no proof or evidence, and a lot of this was propagated by Mario Maleri, who's trying to sell his own tunes at the same time, and claiming that these random, arbitrary injection times are supposedly unsafe.
Yeah, and of course we're constrained to given operating parameters, and opening times are limited by engine RPM, fuel flow. There are limits for sure. We're not trying to drive it over that, but just saying a number means bad without any other qualifications doesn't get you anywhere. You can run. We can go back to the port injection days just as an example. You can run 30 milliseconds of injection time at 3,000 RPM. At 6,000 RPM, that would be a 30 millisecond opening time would be like 140% duty cycle. Like you can't, one number doesn't equal, much of anything in an engine where it's got such a broad operating range and set of conditions. So it's a really intricate, tough question to answer. And I have yet to see any evidence out there that indicates from engineers and these other competitors that 8 milliseconds is the cutoff point where things are bad. It's one of those problems too where you've got these other shops too, like, well, we haven't had a blown up motor or an issue or a failed injector or anything. We run a tune like this. It's like, well, yeah, you got a dozen cars or dozens of cars, potentially for the exposure, whereas the OEM has had issues. Our customers, some of the other bigger shops have seen injector and whatever issues, but you're talking in the sample sets of thousands where you're going to have more exposure to all of the different states of injectors out there.
So this particular person or shop website, e-commerce website, is talking about AFRs and running lean, and they supposedly have some logs showing the lean, and so people are asking, like, what is a safe AFR to run on E85? It's not that simple. You can't. There's not one number that encompasses all the operating conditions inside a motor and what's safe. We determine what's safe in our tuning. The ECU calculates thousands of times a second at higher RPMs what the AFR or lambda should be in the motor, and there's an entire algorithm and control process inside the ECU that's always targeting the safe AFR within the motor. Anyone who's going around talking about a snapshot of what AFR should be is completely oversimplifying how these ECUs and engines work, and it makes it pretty clear that they have no idea what they're talking about.
And also, please never talk in AFR. AFR is a very tough number to talk in. That's kind of I don't want to say made up, but it's not how the ECU works, how the lambda sensor works. It's a ratio. It's a ratio of lambda. So your ideal burn or your ideal fuel burn ratio would be a lambda of 1.
Yeah.
That translates to in gasoline an AFR of like 14.7, but in ethanol it's wildly different.
It's different. 9.8. But lambda normalizes it.
Yeah, but lambda is always going to be 1 for an ideal burn. And then when you go away from that ideal burn, different fuels behave very differently away from a lambda of 1. So gasoline, for example, is going to want the power lambda there is typically like 8.5 or whatever. Ethanol, given the situation, can be up to 1, can be down to 0.9, can be down to 0.85. It depends on the ratio, the cylinder loads, all that stuff. But there's no one number that is like, this is the right number for this fuel for every motor.
Yeah, this isn't the first time we've seen someone going around with a screenshot of a log, capturing one moment at a time, saying that this tune runs lean. It's just not true. So we know our tunes don't run lean. We offer for our stage 3 customers a standard output file and a high output file. The ECU is precisely programmed to manage the lambda and air fuel ratio inside the motor, within the motor, and it's just not accurate to talk about things in such simplified terms.
Yes. And to the dealer, to any customers out there, we are incredibly open and accessible for any kind of questions and feedback and logs. And we have the most used, the most developed data acquisition tools for end users of any company in the market for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
We want you guys to have full visibility, control, access to all of this stuff. So we're not hiding things. We're not pushing an agenda. We're trying to get the right tune to the right
hiding. There's nothing to hide.
Like literally, we allow you guys to go, check and make sure what we're saying is true. So you can go log the car. You can, we are as open and available as any other company out there.
The only one hiding anything is this particular dealer, which again never shared anything with us, never even told us about this. So it's pretty obvious that the ulterior motive was kept a secret and kept away from us, so that they could spread this information as long as they could, as much as they could, without us supposedly knowing about it. So as soon as we found out, we addressed it. And given the fact that even then they still wouldn't tell us what they were talking about, and they still wouldn't share any constructive concerns with us, we severed our relationship with them. So you're gonna, they really don't have a lot of other options other than to go out and really triple down on this ridiculous message that they've created. But this isn't a successful strategy for them. No, they won't be successful.
And again, like if this is the claim and what they're hinging this transition on, ask for like the forensic proof. Where is the proof of this claim? You're
just going to hear a lot of bluster, which is all we've heard. All right, that's enough. Again, we didn't need to mention who they are, because if you don't know about who they are, then you absolutely don't need to know about this. Yeah. If you know who they are and you've experienced this, hopefully
get in touch with us too. Yeah. We're obviously happy to,
and we will review your logs from your car actually running in, dynamically, not one screenshot, not one bullshit thing. And that's what we do here. So.